So this popped up on my news feed. Taylor Swift accidentally admits she doesn't care about her fans. I highly doubt that's the case. Not in that she doesn't care, but that she actually admitted it. That just seems like a rookie mistake. This is from the Daily Caller, so we're going to take this with a grain of salt. In the world of celebrity endorsements, nothing is less shocking than Taylor Swift supporting a Democrat for president. For years, Swift has made it perfectly clear that she embraces radical ideologies and that her values align with the far left wing of the Democratic Party. Still, supporting Vice President Kamala Harris exposes her in a way her 2020 endorsement of President Joe Biden didn't. Oh, look her with her cat. She's going to support the party where the people are actually sacrificing him. Trump, and anecdotally, but we do know it to be true, that, the Haitian immigrants that are here legally because of the Biden administration, people who are from Haiti or whose parents from Haiti, is they're actually not eating them as much as they're probably sacrificing them, which is crazy to think about. So there's the childless cat lady. There's her. We're not going into all that. But that's her endorsement of Kamala Harris. She says you should research. If she researched, obviously she wouldn't be. But anyway, there was so much chaos going on in America during the 2020 election with the fear-mongering around the COVID pandemic, protests against pandemic restrictions, and racial riots destroying cities that it was hard for some voters to see through the fog. One could understand and even sympathize with someone who voted for Biden in 2020 and the possible change he'd bring to a society seemingly burned down. Okay. But a lot has changed in the last 4 years. The fog has lifted and these voters see an even worse world. Swift's endorsement of Harris and her running mate Tim Walz is unthinkable. It reveals to her many fans that while she plays the part of a loving pipe icon who adores her fans, the reality is that she doesn't care about them, not one bit. Okay, so this is where they're going with it, and this is why I said take it with a grain of salt. You don't care because you're voting for Kamala Harris. That's not true. That's not true. She doesn't care, but it's not because she doesn't. And voting for Kamala Harris, you can say the same thing, and this is one of those weird. You don't care because you're voting for Donald Trump. You cannot say who someone is or isn't based simply on who they're voting for. That is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Swift endorsed the Democratic duo because they support, quote, right and causes, unquote, she believes in, including LGBT rights. How nice it must be for Swift that as a straight, white, billionaire woman, her biggest issues are things she'll never actually be affected by. The Biden-Harris economy certainly isn't affecting her. Now, that being said, too, up until it became the LGBTQRSTUV, whatever, when it was just LGB, when it was adults engaging in adult activities, it didn't bother me a bit. It didn't bother me a bit. I was a supporter of the LGBT community. I even advertised it on my vehicle that I was a straight supporter of gay rights. That doesn't affect me, but I support it because it's the right thing to support. So people who only support things that personally affect them and not because it's the right thing to do, I don't trust those people either. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that Swift is right in her supporting the LGBT because it doesn't affect her. What I'm saying is that you should support anything that you feel is right, whether it benefits you or not. If it benefits somebody who you care about or is a benefit to the people in general, you should definitely support it, even if you yourself get nothing out of it. Swift isn't starting the first day of school in secondhand clothes on an empty stomach with no school supplies. She didn't stay up all night to eavesdrop on her parents' discussion about how they would afford rent, utilities, and food this month. Swift has never and will never live in economic hardship. She is forever immune from caring about where the next meal will come from or how she will support her growing family. That is, if she ever decides to become a mother, but her fans do. Millions of her fans are struggling or watching their parents worry about how to provide a prosperous life for their family. Still, these issues are so far from her mind. What drives her vote is wanting our country to continue to codify mental illness by promoting transgender ideology and ensuring that there are no restrictions to women murdering their babies. And that I agree with. A broken clock is right twice a day. They got it right on there. It's too bad for her fans because they will have to live with the consequences of her supporting so-called transgender issues. While her teenage fans are being groomed into an ideology that preys on their insecurities and tells them to ignore their fears of having men in their private spaces, Swift gets to have bodyguards wherever she goes and soothsayers propping her sense of self. As self-proclaimed feminist, how dare she support an ideology that tells confused girls they need surgeries and hormones to feel better about themselves? I am dead on with that. How feminists support men pretending to be women, going into women's safe places and not speaking up about it. Transgender women are the most anti-feminist thing out there. How much does it say that society hates you when Caitlyn Jenner got Person of the Year? When these guys dressing up as girls are being considered women, what does that say about you? How does that devalue you as a female? Because it does. It truly does. A dude born a man became Woman of the Year. They're telling you that even men are better at being women than you are. It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. I don't know how the feminists have not come out in an army going after these people. But it's that ideology. It's whatever the left says and Donald Trump hates is right. You can do anything with that. Whatever the left says is right, whatever Donald Trump is against, because I know people like that, they are for it, even if 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, they would be morally opposed to it. If Donald Trump supports it, they're against it. If Donald Trump's against it, they support it. The most asinine way to live your life. If she cared about women's rights, she'd be on the side of the girls who want to compete in sports without men. She'd be rallying around girls who have been assaulted by trans-identifying men who gained access to female spaces through a perverse and evil ideology. Completely agree. The fact that Swift decided to support Harris is a personal choice. Everyone has the right to vote depending on their values. But when you are a celebrity as big as Taylor Swift and your primary audience is teenage girls, you have a responsibility to them. No, she doesn't. No, she does not have a responsibility to her audience. She has a responsibility to do her music. That's it. She can sing about whatever she wants. She can talk about whatever she wants. She is not responsible for her audience. That's complete BS. The people responsible for those young girls are their parents, are their caregivers, are the ones looking out for them. It is not up to put the blame on a pop artist or a television show or a rock band or a book is absolutely ridiculous. Raise your kids right, have a relationship with your kids, have a one-on-one, be an actual parent, be engaged in their lives, and they can deal with anything. It is not up to a pop artist, an actor, anybody to actually take your kids into consideration when it comes to how they live their lives. It is up to you. It is up to you as a parent to look out for your children. If there's something you don't want them to see, that's your prerogative. Something you don't want them to read, something you don't want them to listen to, that's your prerogative. When you put the responsibility on the artist, you are setting yourself up for failure. Her public support of Harris is an open admission that the economic devastation our country has experienced these last 4 years and the pain transgender ideology has caused American families means nothing to her. And it doesn't. But that's not her response. It doesn't matter if it matters to her. It has nothing to do with her fans. She simply doesn't care. Yeah, she doesn't care. It doesn't mean that you can take that and translate it to she doesn't care about her fans. It's not that she doesn't care about her fans. She doesn't care about anybody. She only cares about what makes her feel good. And that's most of the people who support the left. It's about what makes them feel good. They don't care what Kamala Harris does. They don't care what her actual policies may end up being. They just want to hear that she's going to do something that they agree with, whether she does it or not, which has been our reality as American citizens for the last 100+ years, no matter when it comes to Republicans or Democrats. So it's insane. This whole article, she's admitting she doesn't care. I knew it was going to be that. It does lead me to one thing. It is not about the artist. It is not the artist's responsibility to look out for their fans. It's not. Alice Cooper said something akin to, if you're taking political advice from a pop star or a rock star, then you're just as stupid as they are. And that's the truth. Taylor's right. Go out and do the research yourself, but unlike Taylor, actually research. Look what's important to you. Look what's important to your family. Look what benefits not only you, but others in society. Look at that, and that's how you should vote. And never put the responsibility of what your children see and what your children do on an artist, on an author, on anybody. You are the parent. Have that relationship with them. Talk with them. Discuss with them what is going on in the world so that your values, no one else's, is in their psyche. Thanks for tuning in. Later.